From King High School in the city of Riverside, it's the Riverside TV game of the week as tonight, the Lakeside Lancers taking on the Bears of Pauley. Jeff Gorm along with J.R. Ibarra, thank you for joining us on this final night of football, on our final broadcast for this abbreviated season. So a little bit of disappointment for you and I.
Yeah, we love to have a full season, a full slate of games, but Riverside TV has been there. We've covered at least 2 a week. I think we've covered 13 games this season in 5 weeks, so we have been there to cover it all.
Unfortunately, there is no CIF playoffs in this abbreviated season, so tonight is it, especially for the seniors. But both of these clubs really are very young. There's a lot of sophomores and a lot of freshmen that comprise the roster for each of these ball clubs.
Yeah, they're both underclassmen, riveted. They have great coaching staffs. They're building cultures at both programs. Lakeside, a 2-year coach, is kind of taken over the transition, and John Rice and Bill Powell over at Pauley, legendary coaches, are turning this Pauley Bears program around.
Yeah, both coaches have only been in place for about 2 years, but as Jeff said, they both have a lot of experience behind them. In fact, we'll talk a little bit more about that later on as the game progresses. But it's a great even matchup between these two ball clubs. They both love to run the football, so we're going to see a lot of ground pounding tonight.
Smash mouth football at its finest, and I'll tell you what, you got to be happy going into week 5, the finale. It will be a battle to the finish.
Good matchup. Stay right here for the Riverside TV Game of the Week. And welcome back, everybody, to King Stadium here in Riverside as tonight's matchup brings us the Lakeside Lancers taking on the Bears of Riverside Pauley. J.R. Ibarra along with Jeff Gorham bringing you the action on a Saturday night. I think this might be the first Saturday night high school game I've ever done.
It's great. I'll tell you what, we've had a Thursday night game, we had a Friday night game, and to cap off the season, a Saturday night thriller.
Even though it's been an abbreviated 5-game season as the Pauley Bears head out into the gridiron to get things rumbling here in just a matter of a couple of minutes. Even though in this abbreviated season, Jeff, it's been great to see these kids come out, have an opportunity to play a little bit of football.
Yeah, and you really talk about it, you stress the athletic side of it, but it's really for the seniors and those parents that really were, last year a lot of stuff was taken away, their junior prom and so forth. Now they're able to play these 5 games. They've been played in front of parents, and these seniors are getting the proper send-off going into adulthood, I should say, and they're getting their football in. Only 5 games, but still better than nothing.
And, interestingly enough, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, that these are both very young football teams. Yes, there are seniors here that are playing their last games of their careers for high school, but we have a lot of youngsters that comprise the rosters for each of these squads. So there's a lot of experience being gained through these last 5 football games.
Yeah, and playing your young guys, and we're going to see a lot of young players, as you mentioned tonight. It should be a good one. This Lakeside team only scored 6 points in their first 2 games in their 2 losses, but then put on 55 points in the following 2 games, so they're starting to get their stride.
Kick is up in the air, ball taken right at about the 5, and ridden down. We'll call it about the 26-yard line, and that's where Lakeside will operate with a first down and 10.
So the sophomore, Kenneth Powell, returning the ball. Just a sophomore. We mentioned a 5'5", 155-pounder. We're going to see a lot of young guys tonight.
Yeah, we are. We are. In fact, I know it was with Lakeside. I believe the coach mentioned me that last week, his seniors didn't even play the second half. So they really have a very smart young team. Dakota Pope is the senior underneath center as he sends a man in motion, and Pope will just drive his way forward. Looks like he'll pick up about 5 on the carry.
And Angel Sanchez with the tackle. He's one of the lone returning starters on this defensive line. He moved to linebacker this year for John Rice. Remember, there's only one returning starter on offense and 4 on defense. So this is a very young Poly team as well.
Dakota Pope is the guy who's really running the show here. I know Coach Seidler has been very high on his capabilities. He's a 4-year starter here for Lakeside as he gives the ball this time to his running back, and it looks like they will pick up a first down. Alfonso Romero, your ball carrier.
And Larry Morris with the tackle, as well as Luke Pruitt for the Bears.
So first down on the carry. Make it a first down and 10, right at about the 42. Pope going to come back into the gun. They may show a little bit of signature of throwing the football, but again, Romero is your ball carrier. He's looking to his left, picks up about 5, keeps the feet moving actually. No whistle as of yet. And finally wrestling down. Looks like, depending on forward progress, they might actually give him about 8 yards on the carry.
That was a rugby scrum. That reminds me of my days when I lived in New Zealand and I used to go watch the world champion All Blacks team play. That was, the greatest rugby team in the world. It reminded me of a little bit of rugby play there.
So it is a pickup of, we'll call it 8 yards on the carry. Romero once again in the backfield, and the give is to Romero. He's going to blast his way forward easily for a first down.
And the sophomore, once again, Larry Morris with the tackle for the Bears.
Stats have not been plentiful, but talking to Coach James Seidler from Lakeside, he estimates that Romero probably has about 600 yards in these 5 games.
It's a pretty good clip, I'd say.
Romero, once again, your ball carrier, this time off tackle, keeps the feet, actually gets tripped up. Looks like it'll be a gain of about 4, maybe 5.
And Morris again with his 3rd tackle of the game, this early part of the game. But this is smash mouth football. You mentioned it. They're just going it right up the middle.
Right up the gut. Fake by Pope. He's looking long, has a man open. And it is, did he catch it?
Caught at
I think
1.
he caught it right at the 1. I thought he might have hit the turf on that one, but I guess he catches the football right inside of the 1-yard line, and it'll be a 1st and goal scenario here for the Lakeside Lancers.
Like I said, punching it up the gut.
Romero gets met right at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he'll be put back for about a loss of 1 to 2 yards on that carry.
And Alonde Telemoc with the tackle. But yeah, they decided to throw it and test that secondary. A good throw.
It was a very good throw and quite unexpected. This team really loves to run the football. As Pope right underneath center, he's going to go in for the score. We have whistles and we have flags, and we have, unfortunately, a legal procedure by Lakeside. So that'll push it.
A little bit of a hurry there, JR.
Yeah, well, it seems like this last part of the series here, they have been kind of keeping the tempo very fast pace, and that kind of caused them to shoot themselves in the foot on that one. So it's a 2nd and goal scenario with the ball spotted right at about the 6 for Lakeside. Pope back into the gun, looking out to his right. Timing pattern, and looks like he was trying to get it to his receiver, John Medina.
A great defensive stop by Seth Garcia, the senior DB wide receiver.
A little bit of pushing and shoving going on in the background.
And remember, this really would only be week 5 of the preseason in a normal year.
Right.
So, these guys are finally starting to get it tuned up, and their season is going to come to a close.
Finally getting it into gear, and unfortunately it has to draw to a closure tonight. Romero, again, your ball carrier. Gets stacked up. I don't think there's going to be any kind of gainer on the carry. Brings up a 3rd down. Actually, we call it a 4th down scenario now. Still 4th and goal.
what would you call that? A swarm of bears. Oh, there's always like a gaggle of geese.
That's true.
Or just, we've got to think of a name.
A swarm.
A swarm. A pack of bears.
A pack of bears. So we're going to try a field goal attempt of about, let's see, 21, 22 yards here for Lakeside. Kick up on the way, and it's good. So just like that, Lakeside comes up with a 3-point field goal.
But if you're John Rice, you got to be happy with that. I mean, Lakeside, like you said, threw that pass. They were marching right up the gut. They threw this pass deep, and Poly stopped them with 4 plays. So they've got to be happy with only giving up 3 points on that run.
Look at that great catch. I mean, it was kind of fumbling and stumbling just a bit, but he was able to hold on to it for the long reception. Unfortunately, it turns into 3 points only, but as you said, I think head coach John Rice here for Poly has to be pleased with his defense rising to the occasion.
A great stop. And now it's Poly's turn.
So early here in the first quarter, 3-0 your lead by the Lakeside Lancers. Great to have you along with us here in this final game for the do we call it 2020 or 2021 season?
We can call it anything you like, JR.
Ball's taken now to about the 32-yard line. Run back on the play by Ethan Tejerina. So that's where Poly will operate with a 1st down and 10. Looking at your starting backfield here for the Bears, Will Cloak will be underneath center with Jason Mejia in the backfield. And to give is to Mejia, going to go off tackle. Looks like he'll pick up maybe close to 3 yards on the carry.
Angel Sanchez, we saw him earlier this season. He was a beast in the first game we had. But talking about that young freshman, Will Cloak, he's only a sophomore, but talking to the coaching staff, he's a 4.4 student. He's not going to make too many mistakes.
No, not at all. So we'll call it a 2nd and 7 scenario here for the Bears of Poly. Once again, actually looking to give right up the middle once again to Mejia. And he'll blast his way forward for a pick of about 4 yards on the gainer.
Number 33, Angel Sanchez, the ball carrier, brought down by number 52, Hunter Copeland.
Gotta like the uniform scheme tonight. You mentioned it looks like a little bit like Clemson out there.
That Clemson look about him. Actually, we've been calling the wrong name here. That's Angel Sanchez from what we see here. Unless they made a jersey change on me.
Hey, remember last year he was a defensive lineman. They moved him to a linebacker. And they say, hey, you're better than that. We're going to throw you at tailback.
So unfortunately, a flag will push back the Bears. Looking at a 3rd and long scenario. Cloak from the gun. Looking down center. Catch is made. Ball taken right past the 1st down marker, and it will be 1st down and 10. Alandi Talamaki making the reception on the play. First down and 10 now for Poly. Ball spotted right inside of the 45. Give goes right up against the middle again one more time. Jason Mejia is your ball carrier.
Number 44, Jason Mejia, the ball carrier, brought down by number 22, Alfonso Romero.
Pickup of 5 on the carry. Ball just inside of the 49. And getting stacked up for a loss of about 1 on the play. Angel Sanchez tries to blast his way forward and gets stacked And looked like not quite a loss, but
Yeah, Hunter Copeland with the tackle. 6'2" senior out of 255-pounder, inside linebacker.
we'll call it a 3rd and 6 scenario. Once again, a 3rd down conversion attempt here facing the Bears of Pauley. Play action. Looking out to his right. Got a man open. Catch is made. Nope, they're going to call it incomplete. But very nice effort on the play by Ethan Tijerina.
A great rollout. Great, really good pass.
It was.
Just a drop there.
Actually, are they going to give it to him? I guess they are.
They did.
No, they're going to take. No. The officials talked it over for just a bit and decide that it will not be a completed pass, so that'll bring up a punting situation here for the Bears of Pauley. So Alfonso Romero will be the lone receiver here for this punt. As we're early here in the first quarter play from King High School. Romero going to let it just drop out of bounds right at about the 22-yard line. So a long field scenario here for the Lancers of Lakeside.
Out of bounds. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Lancers.
Some of your starting receivers here for Lakeside will include Kenneth Powell, John Medina, and Marcel Long. Your front line is comprised of Hunter Copeland, Vincent Juarez, Zeke Foyzags, Ethan Gonzalez, and William Naylor. First down and 10 for the Lancers of Lakeside, right at their own 16-yard line. Dakota Pope once again directing traffic. This time he's going to give off left side tackle. Jermaine Barnes is your ball carrier.
Barnes, the ball carrier. Tackled by number 87, Dylan Sybar.
First time we've seen Barnes carry the football tonight. So it looks like Lakeside wants to kind of mix things up in their offensive squad tonight. So 2nd down and 5 is your situation. Barnes once again given the football. He's looking for an open place to rumble. Maybe 2 to 3 on the play, depending on forward progress that they would give him.
Now, you talked to the head coach from Lakeside. He's got a pretty good background, doesn't he?
Very
interesting.
Very interesting background. He definitely has a lot of coaching experience, but here's the really factoid that I find interesting. He's a 24-year veteran from the U.S. Army. Just recently retired and actually spent time coaching at the Army base in Germany where he was stationed back in the day. Give us to Barnes once again. Going to rumble off tackle off to his right. Nice stiff arm. Makes a spin move. Might be just shy of the first down marker.
I believe he spent some time at Great Oak High School as well. But man, what an amazing story. How nice is it that you can work for 20-plus years, retire, and then start a brand new career? That is a pretty awesome thing to talk about. And tell you what, you got to listen. I'm sure at one point he was probably a drill sergeant of some sort.
Oh, he's
sure
got the ability to get the notice of his troops.
Yes.
4th down and 1. Pope is going to blast his way forward. Looks like he will easily get the first down.
Number 13,
But yeah, head coach James Seiler here for Lakeside.
35, Anthony.
Only been in place here with Lakeside for a couple of years, so as he mentioned to me before the football game, that he's really done a lot to try to change the culture of this squad, and I think they're finally seeing some results. First down and 10. Give goes to Romero. Oh, boy, he gets met right immediately in the backfield. Looks like it'll be a loss of about 1 on the game.
Yeah, good stop by a couple Bears.
Number 22,
Julius Castro was part of that, and
64,
Jacob Westover.
Alfonso Romero not only has been great on the field, off the field, he sports a 3.9 GPA. Play action. Looking down the middle. The ball was intended for Kenneth Powell, your receiver, doing a crossing pattern. Unfortunately, could not get a handle on the football.
Angelo Ramirez there got his hand and slapped that ball down, as we see on the replay here.
Nice play action move by Pope.
Yeah, talking to Bill Powell, the assistant coach from Poly, he said that the Lakeside's team, their weight room, their coach is really, really high in the weight room, so these guys have gotten really strong even during the pandemic.
Back to pass. Once again as Pope going to get scrambled out of the backfield. Has a little bit of daylight. Gets knocked out of bounds just shy of the first down. And they're calling for a penalty marker, which I think they've got.
I hope they pick that one up because I'm not too sure if that's a good call. I mean, he was pushed out of bounds. I think they're going to pull up the...
Oh, yeah. It was a legal hit as we see the replay on that. He hit him well before the sidelines.
I believe they're going to pick that up. I hope
they're going to wave it off. So that's a good call by the refs. Very good call. Pope really did get blasted, though.
He did.
Take a look at this one more time. He gets scrambled out of the backfield. And boom. Yeah, look, it's a clean hit. You can't complain about that. Brings up a 4th and short scenario. Be shy by less than a yard. So let's see what happens here on this 4th down conversion attempt. Jump on the play. It looks like we got somebody in the neutral zone, but no call as of yet. And Pope tries to go up center, and he gets met in the backfield and will be called for the loss here.
Well, maybe that movement threw everybody off.
It really did.
Because we all watched it, and we all saw it.
I kept expecting a flag because I thought he was in the neutral zone. Angel Sanchez making the crucial stop on that one, and that will push back any kind of offensive attack here for the Lancers. As you see Pope go immediately to the line of scrimmage and gets met right in the backfield. Nice defensive move. This is a golden opportunity here for the Bears of Pauley. Back to pass. Cloak tosses it out to his left. First down pickup on the reception.
I still think that's the best pass in high school football. You have a nice little screen, you get it out in the flat, you know, you're going to get some short yardage gains, but it does make the defense really honest. It's going to spread that defense out, and if you're Poly, you'll be able to, if you can run those type of plays, you'll be able to get right up the middle. If you can pass here and there, pepper it in.
Bailey Brown making the catch and the first down. Once again, Brown is your receiver. He's going to get met in the backfield. That was almost like a lateral pass there on that one, Jeff.
That would have been, don't drop that one. It could go back the other way.
Oh, boy. That could have been a real risky thing to do. Yeah, that could have been easily called as a
live ball.
Yeah. So it's almost fortunate that he did make the reception. Unfortunately, brings a loss of about 3, almost 4 yards on the pass play. So second down, we'll call it 14 here for the Bears. Give. Going off tackle. Tejon Henderson.
Just a freshman.
Wow. As we mentioned, it's a young ball club.
He's going to get a little spot minutes. This is his first game playing varsity football. Talking to Coach Rice, said, hey, he's going to get a couple shots. And that was his first try. So his first run as a varsity player.
Very nice.
Older brother was a great player as well.
So we'll call it a 3rd and 13 scenario here for the Bears of Pauley as the clock winding down to just about 1 minute left here in the first quarter. Looks like we have movement on the front line, unfortunately. Enrique Guzman, I think, unfortunately, created the scenario here for the Bears.
Yeah, there's the movement there. Like you
Stripes are still talking about it. Offsides? Oh, they're going to call it an offside. I did not see that one.
I think you and I both saw something.
Let's take another look. Let's see if there's any kind of movement here by the Lancers. Well, yeah, there is a slight jump. There is a slight jump. So just that short little jump over neutral zone. Pass overthrown, intended for Alande Telemake.
Pass intended for number 11, Alande Telemo. Defending on the play, number 7.
So this brings up a 4th down scenario now, and it looks like the Bears of Poly will bring in the kicking crew.
Lining up for a potential field goal is number 29, Eli Dujefe.
This could become a kicker's duel. This could call the game. It could be between those guys.
It'll be a kicking game.
The smart guys, the guys that they put on the sidelines during practice and say, go over there and kick. And when you get your chance, you got to make it. Let's see if this could be a kicker's duel.
35-yard attempt here for Eli DeGenefe. Snaps down. Kick up on the way. Looks good. And it is. So we got a 3-3 ball game. So it's a battle of legs tonight.
Yes.
We thought legs were going to come into play in terms of the running game, but so far it's been the kicking game that's putting points onto the scoreboard here.
Yeah, we got to give some love to the kickers. In these 5 weeks, we haven't seen much of a kicking game.
No,
In fact,
not at all.
This might be the first field goals I've seen in 5 weeks, and I'm not kidding around.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, for most high school teams, the kicking game is probably the weakest link
Yes.
in most rosters. So you don't really normally see too much field goal attempts around the Inland Empire.
Getting ready to kick off for the Bears, number 29, Eli Dijenefe. Back to receive.
DeGenefe, who did
22,
the 3-point
Romero, and number
field goal, will be the man to kick off here for the Bears of Poly. Nice boot. Going to be taken right at about the 9. Nice open field tackle. We'll take the football right to about the 31.
Marcel Long on the return. Tackle by number 19.
First quarter's gone pretty fast. Down to under a minute here. But what a beautiful night. Got the sunset over the, I guess, Orange Crest area of Riverside here at King High School.
That would be the appropriate way to classify that part of Riverside. First down and 10. Ball spotted at the 30-yard line. Give it to Romero. Keeps the feet moving. We'll pick up a first down after a gain of about 12 on the carry.
The only thing that could be more romantic than this? No, nothing actually. I mean, I was going to say if my wife was next to me, but no. I think this is more romantic sitting next to you, JR, watching high school football under the lights. There's nothing better
On
than
a
that.
Saturday
On
night?
a
What
Saturday
more could
night.
you ask
It's a
for?
great date. Thanks for being my date, JR.
Oh, hey, I'm here for you, buddy. Romero, your ball carrier once again, going to scoot forward for a pickup of about 2.
I wish we had a game tomorrow, for gosh sakes. I don't want this season to end. We've had so much fun this year.
You know, like we've talked about, you know, this 5-game really series has really helped, or really should help propel for this coming fall.
Oh, it's going to be great because this is like a spring football, like 7-on-7 type scenario. And remember, these guys didn't have that opportunity to play summer ball. They didn't get to go to camps. They didn't get to lift weights. You know, talking to Coach Rice, he said for 6 months we didn't lift any weights. We had a couple weights we took out at the football practice, but there was no serious lifting. Now, COVID testing. Have you been tested yet?
I have been tested.
I'll tell you what, as students, teachers, and coaches and faculty members head back to the practice and campus, let's make sure everyone stays safe from the COVID-19. Fortunately, Riverside has numerous locations within the city to provide at no cost a simple oral swab testing. You will receive results within 24 to 48 hours directly to your phone. Make sure you and your loved ones are healthy and stay healthy so we can all keep moving in the right direction. For location information, visit riversideca.gov/testing. Yeah, I've been tested. I'm not kidding. Over 100 times this year.
Oh, obviously, because you spend your time in a classroom.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But see, and also, you know, I was traveling with college basketball.
Oh,
and
correct.
anytime you go anywhere, anytime you walk into a
right.
building, it seems like I had either something shoved up my nose or down my throat. Oh, so yeah, this has been. I'm so hoping that we can get through all this testing and get back to the real life, because that's not fun.
Well, it's been great that things have slowly eased up. We have even a larger crowd here tonight than we've seen in some of the past few weeks. Give us to Romero once again. Looks like he'll pick up maybe one. We got a flag down on the field. Holding is going to be the call against the Lancers. We even have a marching band tonight. Well, maybe not marching. They're seated. I don't know if they're going to give them a chance to march as we take another look at this play.
We have a stationary band.
Stationary band.
You know, last night we were at Ramona High School. The Rams played La Sierra, and the band performed. It was pretty cool. They performed in the bleachers at halftime. So the parents came down and got in front of the entire band.
Oh, very cool.
And were able to film their last game at a school function. So a very cool environment we've had just this week.
We'll call it a 2nd and 13 after a penalty marker. Back to pass, looking long. Got a receiver open. I think we're going to get a flag on that one.
Great play, though. They are really testing that poly secondary, the deep secondary, and they're getting something every time they've thrown deep. And that way they got a pass interference call.
You'll see Kenneth Powell here, your intended receiver. Was open for a bit, and there it's very obvious at that point that he gets interfered with, and that brings up the flag hitting the field there. So it'll make it a 1st down and 10 scenario. Ball spotted at the 45-yard line of Pauley. So Lancers slowly progressing here early in the 2nd quarter play. Pope gives to Romero. And he'll pick up maybe 2 on the carry. So far, 8 carries on the night here for Romero. Coach Seidler very big on his running back Romero. He says what's been great about this season, because he has done so well, as we mentioned, gaining about 600 yards. He's getting schools to take a look at him to possibly play at that next level. He says maybe his only drawback is that he is a little bit on the short side, but this 5-game scenario has been a great way to showcase his talents, as he once again is the ball carrier, spins and picks up close to 5 on the carry.
Well, the good thing about the Inland Empire is, you have the national champion RCC Tigers, which you and I covered last year.
Right.
But there's so many other schools. You have the SCIAC, which has University of Redlands. You have Laverne. You have all of these smaller schools, Division II schools. You've got Azusa Pacific. So there are plenty of options for players like him that might be a little bit undersized but continue to play on Saturdays once they get to college.
As we mentioned, he can do it in the classroom as well, as Romero once again carries the football. I think he's going to get stacked up for no gainer on the carry.
Number 22, Alfonso Romero, the ball carrier. Tackle by number 64, Jacob Westover.
Yeah, with so many community colleges, you have San Jacinto nearby, San Bernardino Valley. I mean, there's just so many different opportunities for these young players to continue their football careers, and we're going to see the community college level next year is going to even get a lot better.
That's true.
It's going to be much better than it has been, and we saw this RCC team win the national championship last year. Man, they're going to get some great players for next year's team.
It'll be a 4th and 4 scenario here for the Lancers. Romero gets met, and the ball's loose on the turf. Bears say they have it. No indication yet from any officials. Nonetheless, it'll be a turnover on downs, regardless if it is a fumble recovery. There you see Romero as your ball carrier. Ball did hit the turf, but it looks like the Lancers did pick it up, but nonetheless it was still shy of the 1st down marker. And so now Riverside Pauley with the opportunity here to march it down the field. So ball spotted right at about the 36, 37-yard line of Riverside Pauley. Cloak looking out to his left, heaves it off, catches made, and only a pickup of maybe 2 on the reception. Makai Alexander receiving here for the Bears. So only a reception of 2 on the play. Only the third complete pass here in this first half of football for Riverside Poly. 2nd and 8 is your scenario. Ball spotted at the 39. Cloak once again going to dip back, looking, gets chased out of the pocket. Maybe a pickup of 1 on the play. Great defense here by the Lancers.
Will Cloak on the ball carrier. Number 55 on the tackle.
You watch that young man. His head is on a swivel. That's exactly what you want from your quarterback. Might not have got too many yards, got 1 yard on the play, but his head was on the swivel. He looked at his progressions. So if you have a young guy that can do that, only a sophomore, and gets more reps like he's playing tonight, he could be something special here for the Bears in the future.
3rd and 7. Give goes right off tackle, and it looks like it will pick up a first down here. Jason Mejia, your ball carrier. Nice run by Mejia.
He switched hands as he was running there. What a great run from Mejia.
Very strong runner.
He's brought down by Rene Maldonado, the sophomore. As we've mentioned, so many of these sophomores, every other play seems like it's an underclassman on the move.
Plenty of youngsters on both of these rosters. Brand new ball carrier into the game, and another first down pickup. This time your ball carrier is Ethan Jackson. First time we've seen him carry the ball tonight.
And once again, a sophomore.
So head coach John Rice, really the scenario is he's obviously trying to give a lot of experience for his youngsters to try to obviously give a solid foundation for this coming August. And it looks like, unfortunately, there was a flag on the play that will nullify that first down.
Yeah, talking to Coach Rice, their Frosh Soft team ran the table. They had 47 players in their Frosh Soft team. They went 5-0.
Give once again. Pickup of maybe 4 on the carry. Once again, it is Ethan Jackson, your ball carrier.
Brought down by number 44.
I know Coach Rice says essentially his beginning of practice for the fall season starts Monday with
exactly.
conditioning and the weight room.
And those are two guys with Rice, phenomenal weightlifting guys. He and Bill Powell have been together. They're like the odd couple. Those two guys are always together. But John Rice on campus at Riverside Poly, he was over at North High School. He was an assistant at St. John Bosco. So he's been a lot of different places, and he's won everywhere. So I'm sure the continuing of winning will transcend over to Riverside Poly. I remember back in the day, Poly, won several CIF championships under Mike Churchill, Barry Meyer, these great coaches in the area. I mean, they've had phenomenal players. They've had Mark Green, who was a great receiver for University of Notre Dame. Poly's was a juggernaut for darn near 50-plus years. They had a little bit of a downtime here in recent past, but when you bring in a guy like John Rice, things will turn on a dime, and we've seen it here in just 2 years.
One of the compelling things that has brought him to Riverside Poly is the fact that his son plays on the team, John Rice Jr.
You got to love that.
He said he was commuting like 2 hours each way to go to St. John Bosco.
Yes.
His son, became of age to start playing some football, and he said, "Hey, Pops, how about coaching me?" before he decided to hang it up, and that's what he's doing. And incomplete pass intended for Mejia.
Incomplete pass intended for number 33, Angel Sanchez.
Angel Sanchez was your intended receiver.
Alfonso Romero.
Yeah, but just the nicest of guys, too. I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. I talk to these guys on a regular basis. I'll text them in the middle of the year, and they're just, fantastic human beings. They're fathers. They're leaders.
Absolutely.
They're good husbands. They're just wonderful people. I'm telling you, I wish I was a 16-year-old kid. I would come play for Coach Rice and many of these high school coaches in Riverside.
Cloak looking out to his right. unfortunately throws it past the hands of Jason Mejia, so that'll bring up a 4th down, and very likely punting squad will come out to boot this one away.
You see, I have two littler sons. I have a freshman as well. But if they end up coming to school in Riverside, if they don't go to Ramona or Poly, either way they win. They've got a great coach, Mashinsky, over at Ramona, and John Rice at Poly. Heck, they're going to have to figure out a way to get my sons to come play for one of them. They can bribe me with food.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. I think the quality of coaches in the city of Riverside is just second to none. Really great quality staffs, head coaches. Nice boot. Puts Romero back, and it looks like it will be within inside the 5. What a great kick here for Riverside Poly.
The special teams, once again, the kickers, the legs, JR.
The legs are doing it. That's why we're at 3-3 right here with 7:17 remaining in the second quarter.
Yeah, the only guy I might not send my sons to is one of my best friends, and that's Ken Batdorf over at Norte Vista. Just because I'm around him every day, and I see how he is all the time. I'm like, I don't want that guy near my children. But that's just because we're buddies. He's honest to goodness, Ken Batdorf. I've been teasing him for the last, I want to say 20-plus years. He's been there 27 years. But on the air, I've been ripping him for 6 years. One of the nicest, great coaches in the area.
Absolutely. Boy, his record really shows it as well. 1st down and 10, ball inside of the 5-yard line. Give is going to go right up the middle to Romero. Keeps the feet moving. Actually gets stacked up.
And that kick could be huge. I mean, they're pitting the Lancers back in Bear territory. If they can make a stop here, Poly could be in really good field position. Heck, to score or kick a field goal, for gosh sake.
Get the kicker involved. So pickup of 1 on the play. We'll call it a 2nd down and 9 scenario here for Lakeside. Romero once again the lone set back in the backfield. Play action. Looking down long. Has a receiver open and incomplete. Kenneth Powell was your intended receiver. Ball was just really kind of slightly underthrown there, unfortunately, as we take a second look at this one, Jeff.
Yeah, but man, what a try, though. Testing that secondary once again.
Really kind of a gutsy call when you're backed up against
exactly.
the end zone like that. So I really like the play calling so far, and it looks like it'll be a timeout call down on the field.
Have you heard about the Little Free Pantry, JR?
Tell us about it, Jeff.
Here in Riverside, neighbors don't let neighbors go hungry. The Riverside Community and Economic Development Department, in partnership with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network and Inland Empire Health Plan, launched the Little Free Pantry program to address food insecurity. The Little Free Pantry program will establish 26 free community pantries across Riverside neighborhoods to alleviate some of the hunger that Riverside families face. This is an incredible opportunity to establish neighborhood support networks, build stronger communities, and help our neighbors facing food insecurity during these uncertain times. Please email neighbor@riversideca.gov for an application. Great things can happen when neighbors help neighbors. For more information on how you can help your neighbor, email neighbor@riversideca.gov.
Such a great program to hear that, where a lot of people in the community are reaching out to those who have struggled. Obviously, there's families who have just had a very tough time through the shutdown of the pandemic. And it's great to see that the city of Riverside, their economic development department, doing what they can
exactly
to help out those who live in the great city of Riverside. 3rd and long, 3rd and 9 is the scenario. Back to pass once again. Looking long once again. Overthrows his intended receiver. John Medina nowhere near the football. Again, another gutsy call here by head coach James Seidler.
Trying to go for the home run pass. But like I said, this is going to pit Poly in good field position going back offensively. Let's see if they can possibly make a stop here in the end zone.
So that punt really becomes a key element to this game here. as now Lakeside will have their punter backed up into their own end zone. So this can be a key situation for the Bears of Pauley. Snap looks good. Kick up. Low kick. Going to dribble out of bounds right at about the 30. Actually, it's going to be scooped up. And ball taken out of bounds right at about the 27-yard line. So great field position here for Riverside Pauley.
Once again, you got to thank those kickers. Kickers aren't normally the hero. But, man, if they win this game, these Pauley coaches better do something nice. Maybe take him down the road to Dairy Queen on Sunday morning and after church and say, hey, thanks for the win, whoever wins this one.
Absolutely. First down at 10, ball spotted right at about the 29-yard line. So let's see if the Bears can take advantage of this scenario. Going off to his left, looked like your ball carrier is once again Ethan Jackson.
And between Jackson and Angel Sanchez, those guys are tough to stop.
Jackson will pick up 5 on the carry, bring up a 2nd and 5 scenario here for Riverside Pauley. Jackson once again in the backfield. The give is to Jackson. Looking out to his right. Might get forward progress. Ball on the turf, but the ball has already been whistled dead, and Jackson very slowly coming up off of the turf here. See the give here to Ethan Jackson. Gets met right at the line and driven to the turf. Maybe a pickup of 1 on the carry. So we'll call it a 3rd and 4 situation here for Riverside Pauley. Angel Sanchez now in the backfield for the Bears. Mejia in motion. Back to pass his Cloak. Looking out to his left. Catch is made. And looks like it'll be a first down here for Riverside Pauley. Nice strike on the throw here by Cloak.
Pass complete to number 8, Makai Alexander.
Alexander making the reception. Kind of bobbled it momentarily. I thought it was going to hit the turf, but nice catch there for Alexander.
Had to come back and after he missed it bounced off me, had to go back and grab it. Alexander, tough play there.
1st and goal situation. Ball spotted right at about the 8 here for Riverside. Cloak. Your ball carrier. Telemark. Actually, your ball carrier takes it in for the touchdown. So our first touchdown here for either one of these squads. Clock stopped at 4:28 here in the second quarter. Looks like Pauley's missing one more guy. They're going to send out Angel Sanchez.
He got over there and said, scoot over, I got to get in there.
DeGenevieve once again looking to do the point after. Up on the way and good. So let's take a second look at Telemark here as he takes it as a wildcat scenario. Just powers his way into the end zone.
Once again, thank your punter, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, the kicking game kind of really made the difference on that one, for sure. No question. So with the clock stopped at 4:28, 10-3 your lead here for Riverside Pauley. Great to have you along with us here on Riverside TV. J.R. Ibarra along with Jeff Gorham bringing you all the action for our final game of our abbreviated 2020 season. DeGenevieve, nice boot. We'll kick it into the end zone for a touchback. You know what? This kid has a really good leg.
I hope he plays soccer too, for gosh sakes.
Absolutely.
Anything you can do with kicking. He's got, you know what? He's got a golden toe. That's what it is. That'll be his new nickname. The golden toe.
The golden toe.
I should say this, though. There was a player at Riverside Poly, and I'm going to say he probably played in the 50s, Dell Roberts. I don't know if he's a local legend in the community. His nickname at Poly was the Golden Toe.
Ah, so
he
we
was a
have,
great
we have
kicker.
to, we have,
We have
to
a new-
resume. We got to.
Yeah, there is a documentary, in fact, on Dale Roberts. He's a family friend of my dad. If you can go to Riverside TV and look him up, Dale Roberts, the Golden Toe. Every time I see him, I go, "Hey, Golden Toe."
First down and 10. Pitch is made back to your ball carrier. Need to get a number on 44.
Number 14.
Or is it?
Terrace Jenkins, the ball carrier. Run out of bounds by number 30. Angelo.
Terrace Jenkins. I went with number 14.
There's 14. I thought it was 44. It
It's
shows you
tough
my
to see-
eyesight is
but
going
see,
away. over here.
You and I are I shouldn't say we're older. We're
Oh,
mature.
sure
we're
we can say
mature.
that.
We're mature
Sure,
gentlemen.
We can certainly say
and we
that.
are looking through a chain link fence, by the way.
Yes, we are.
I feel like we're watching a game, like we're at a big ballpark and we're sneaking in.
We're
watch.
like kind of looking over the fence type of
Yeah,
scenario.
it's great.
Yeah. A little bit chilly out, too. 2nd and 5. Looks like Romero's your ball carrier this time. He'll pick up close to 4 on the gainer.
Number 23. Brandon Toohey, the ball carrier. Tackled by number 44. Jason Mejia.
Jason Mejia with the tackle.
First down and 10. Setting a man in motion. Pitch going back. Actually, it's a flea flicker kind of play. Pope making the reception and still on his feet. A little bit of trickery going on here. A little bit of Boise State looking type of football. That's Terrace Jenkins.
Terrace Jenkins with the flea flicker.
That is
I love
pretty cool.
trickery.
Jacob Westover.
So Dakota Pope getting the reception on that. I did not expect to see Dakota Pope taking a football here.
Oh, I want to see the Statue of Liberty next, for gosh sakes. Haven't seen that in a while.
So make it a 2nd and a long 3. And Jenkins met right behind the line of scrimmage.
Number 14. Terrace Jenkins, the ball carrier. Brought down by number 3. Michael Luna. Timeout. Taken by the Bears.
So the Bears will take a timeout down on the field. That'll stop the clock right at 2:23 before we end our first half of play.
DJ Erico for your party's West.
Hey, it's chilly out here.
It is getting cold.
Did I tell you last night there was the defensive line coach for Ramona, Frank Berber, a good friend of mine, and he was wearing his chunkless. You know what chunkless
Oh,
are?
yeah, absolutely.
He was wearing those out on the field, for gosh sakes. He coaches everything. He's been coaching for years, and every time I see him, I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Hey, don't call them flip-flops. They're chunkless." So, yeah, he's Frank Berber. In fact, Ramona, they went on, had a great game last night. They beat La Sierra in their finale. But, yeah, it's getting a little nippy out here.
It is. I know we had a game here a couple of weeks ago. I was here with Nick Rice, and, man, we were like freezing, man. It was plenty cold out here.
Yeah, and Nick Rice literally has no meat on his
There's
bones.
no meat on his bones.
See,
so.
I'm a large man, so I just exude heat. I exude it, JR. You'll be warm the rest of the night.
Pope, back to pass. Catch is made on the reception by Marcel Long. We'll take it for a first down inside the territory of Riverside Poly. Nice toss and nice catch here, Jeff.
Pass complete to number 40, Eric Orvis. Tackle on play by number 4, Larry Morris.
So ball's going to get taken right with a first down and 10 and going no place on the carry. Once again, it's Jenkins, your ball carrier.
Terrace Jenkins, the ball carrier. Tackle by number 3, Michael Luna.
They'll call it a pickup of 1, make it a 2nd down and 9 scenario here for Lakeside.
The Bears have been really, really great defensively, holding, the run, especially versus the Lancers.
Give once again goes right up the gut. Got a player kind of slowly coming up off of the turf.
Alfonso Romero, the ball
Makes it a 3rd and down scenario.
44, Jason Mejia.
And it looks like we have another timeout down on the field here. Stops the clock. Just about a minute and a half before we head into halftime.
And let's talk about the Public Utilities Assistant. We at the City of Riverside recognize that 2020 presented financial challenges for many. If you are a Riverside Public Utilities customer, there are utility bill assistance programs available to assist you. Learn more about Riverside Public Utilities Assistance Programs at riversidepublicutilities.com/assistance or contact RPU Customer Service Team at 951-782-0330 to discuss programs and resources available to you.
Another great public service by
Yeah,
the City of Riverside.
And watching Riverside TV, if you're on YouTube, there are so many things that have gone on, so much information that has gone on during the pandemic, that there are those resources that are available to you. So if you have any questions, just go to the YouTube channel and scroll through and see if any of those things can help you and benefit you.
Plenty of great information as Lakeside looking at a 3rd and long. Well overthrown on the intended receiver.
incomplete pass intended for number 2.
John Medina was your intended receiver here for the Lancers of Lakeside, so this will bring up a punting scenario. Let's see if the punter here for Lakeside can
I'm sure he'll
can
do
make a difference here.
All the punters are doing. I mean, the legs are phenomenal tonight.
Back to receive for the Bears, number 5, Seth Garcia.
Garcia is going to be back as your lone receiver, standing right about at his own 10-yard line. Adrian Serrato, your punting duties here for Lakeside. Ball just kind of squibbles to about the 18, and that's where it will go out of bounds. So not a bad kick. So this will back up the Bears of Pauley as we are just inside of a minute 20 before we head to the half.
Oh, pretty fast first half. Not bad for a Friday or Saturday night, I should say.
Yeah.
We might get home to be able to watch some good TV. I'm going to go home and rewatch this game.
So Riverside Pauley has less than a minute and a half to try to make something happen here. Let's see if they do something daring, and yeah, they do. Kind of an end-around scenario, looking to pass the football, and unfortunately goes no place. Bailey Brown.
Yeah.
Bailey Brown making the attempt. He's talking things over, say, hey, where were you guys here? Needed a receiver.
They're going to call a intentional grounding.
Really?
I thought there was a guy in the area. It was on the sideline.
Yeah.
He just threw it a little short.
I mean, you had a receiver coming back to the ball.
Not sure if I agree with that one. But, hey, what do I know? I'm not wearing the stripes or a whistle.
Nope. Yeah, intentional grounding is the call. Interesting. 2nd and long. We'll call it maybe 2nd and 18, 2nd and 19. Your ball carrier, Ethan Jackson.
Number 26, Ethan Jackson, the ball carrier, brought down by number 7, Ricky Vasquez.
I got to look over at the Chain Gang, one of my best friends, the head basketball coach at Riverside Poly over there, Yancey Dodson, on the Chain Gang. You know, he's just one of those guys. They're in the CIF playoffs every single year, always in the state playoffs. A wonderful human being. Literally was my best friend growing up, and my hero. You know, I don't know if you have any childhood heroes that you grew up with,
Absolutely.
but he was a head coach at Glendora High School, won CIF championship. Went over to Rancho Verde, won a CIF championship there, and was at Poly. They were in the finals. But Yancey Dodson, I will say this: if we look over, if we can get our camera guys just over the Lakeside coaching staff. That's Yancey, the bald-headed man right there next to the pillar. I want to say this. We lost his mother earlier this year.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And we had a nickname for her, and we called her Yellin' Helen Dodson. Because at every event that Yancey, there he is, every event that Yancey played in, or I played in, we played high school basketball, we played Little League baseball together. His mom was the biggest cheerleader and one of the most beautiful, wonderful people I've ever met in my life. And I feel for the Dodson family, and I think Riverside is a little quieter now without Yellin' Helen with us. So
that's a great name. I love that.
I'm telling you, and Yancey was a CIF champion in tennis, and he and his dad used to play tennis down. I used to go watch him play in the city championships at RCC.
3rd and 13 scenario, and maybe a pickup of 4 on the play. Once again, your ball carrier, Ethan Jackson.
Yeah, Ethan Jackson. We've said his name quite a bit here in the first half.
Clock beginning to wind down here. And it looks like they may just let it go to 0 and just take it into the locker room. And, yep, that's what they're going to do. So it's been an interesting contest here in this first half of play. It's been really close, which I kind of expected it to be. So I think we're not surprised that it's a 10-3 ball game in favor of Riverside Poly. We'll see what kind of adjustments need to be made here in the second half, Jeff.
And honestly, it was pretty mistake-free football on both parties. Lakeside gambled, didn't pay off at all, but I'll tell you what, they could in the second half get those deep passes that could connect. But like I mentioned, it was a kicker's duel in that first half that led to that touchdown by Riverside Poly.
The legs made the difference.
The golden toe.
The golden toe. We have a brand new GT here at Riverside Poly. So with a 10-3 lead as we head into halftime by Riverside Poly, we're going to step aside for a break and come back with this second half. You're watching all the action here on Riverside TV.
The passing of the baton, but today it's going to be bashing in the ceremonial piñata. So there you go.
Transformation, and this gallery is just right next to the Zocalo. It is a center of activities. It has museum shop, it has cafe, it has gathering space, learning space. So these will be all fluid between the art in the gallery and the activity of the people indoor and outdoor.
As we go along this path, I am fully convinced that this museum and the Center for Chicano Art and Culture was meant to be, and it was meant to be here in Riverside and the Inland Empire. It is beyond my wildest dreams of what we could do with this building, and we hope we can bring honor and glory to a long tradition of historic buildings here in Riverside, California.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right.
Mask up, Riverside. We mask up to keep our community safe.
Let's do our part to keep everyone safe. I wear my mask to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
I mask up.
I mask up.
I mask up to keep not just myself safe, but the elderly and family members affected.
I mask up so I can be there for my patients.
We mask up
so we can hug our grandbabies again.
I mask up because when you need help, I need to be able to respond.
I wear my mask
to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Because my immune system is compromised.
Because it's easy.
Mask up, Riverside, so we can get back to normal.
Mask up, Riverside, so we can get married.
I mask up to keep myself safe and to keep everyone else safe.
I mask up for me, for you, and
to keep my family safe.
I wear my mask to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Add your phone. Stop the spread, California. Get COVID-19 exposure alerts. Help protect your community while maintaining your privacy. Go to canotify.ca.gov today.
Agrega tu teléfono California, detén la propagación, recibe alertas de exposición a COVID-19, ayuda a proteger a tu comunidad mientras mantienes tu privacidad. Ve a canotify.ca.gov hoy.
Today is our very first building of a Little Free Pantry. We are building a Little Free Pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
These pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares as an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a Little Free Pantry in their neighborhood.
Add your phone. Stop the spread, California. Get COVID-19 exposure alerts. Help protect your community while maintaining your privacy. Go to canotify.ca.gov today.
It's Mrs. Pitchford again. I'm a teacher here in Riverside, and I wanted to talk to you today about something that everyone's talking about, and that's washing your hands. It's super duper important to wash our hands even better than we usually do. I know that you know how to wash your hands. You do it all the time. But nowadays, we have to wash our hands in an extra special way. We have to wash our hands much longer, okay? Because when we go outside, there are germs on our hands that we don't even know about, okay? If we touch something that somebody may have touched with their germy fingers, then those germs get on us. If somebody sneezes and goes, achoo, and then touches a doorknob, then those germs go on us, and we don't want that to happen. So when we are told by mommies and daddies, or grandmas and grandpas, or any of your grown-ups at home to wash our hands, we have to do it really well. Let me show you something about germs, okay? I brought something, and we're gonna do some pretend for a minute. All right, so I brought this glass bowl from my house, and I brought some black pepper, and we're gonna pretend that these black pepper flakes, these specks, we're gonna pretend that they're germs, okay? So let's pretend that I sneezed, all right? So I'm gonna stick my finger into those pretend germs, and I'm gonna show you what happens. So here I go. I'm gonna stick my finger in there. Ew, ew, can you see? Oh my goodness. These pretend germs are sticking to me. And you know what? Real germs do that too. It's just that we can't see them. So let's talk about why hand washing is important. And I'm gonna show you something really cool. I brought some soap from my kitchen too, and I have some in a little dish here. And so let's pretend that I'm washing my hands. So on this finger, I'm gonna dip it in some soap, and let's see what happens to those nasty pretend germs with the soap on this finger. Are you ready? All right, here we go. What's gonna happen? Did you see that? Those germs went, no, no, soap! Soap is our enemy. Soap is the enemy of germs. And that's why grown-ups are telling you to wash your hands all the time. So make sure when you turn on the faucet and the water's running, you get lots of soap on your hands, but not too much, okay, just enough. And you rub this part of your hands. Don't forget your thumbs. Rub your thumbs. Even wash the top part of your hands and wash between your fingers. And sometimes, if you're not sure if you're washing your hands long enough, you can sing the ABC song. And I know you know the ABC song. And when the song is over, then you can rinse the soap off and dry your hands and go play again. So remember and show your mommies and daddies what you've learned about germs, okay? All right, see you next time. Bye.
Completed in September 2015, the Tequesquite Landfill Solar PV project is a 7.5 megawatt solar facility that is operated by SunPower and is set atop the decommissioned Tequesquite Landfill in Riverside, California. The project put Riverside 5 years ahead of its goal of having 20 megawatts of solar energy by 2020. The clean, renewable solar power generated is purchased by Riverside Public Utilities and directly feeds into Riverside's distribution system, providing enough electricity to power over 1,600 homes. For more information on other Riverside Public Utilities green energy efforts, visit greenriverside.com.
We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
Riverside Public Utilities has a workforce of nearly 600 employees dedicated to providing water and energy to our residents. From linemen to engineers, we work hard to keep power and water running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year at the lowest possible rates to benefit residents. We do everything we can to maintain system efficiency and reliability. For more information on RPU, visit riversidepublicutilities.com.
And we're back to King Stadium here in the city of Riverside as the Pauley Bears have a 10-3 lead over the Lancers of Lakeside High School. J.R. Ibarra along with Jeff Gorham bringing you all the action here as we start off this second half of play. Let's see what type of adjustments have been made in the locker rooms to try to make a difference here as we have just 2 quarters of football remaining for this abbreviated season, Jeff.
And I'm getting sad. I mean, that's 24 minutes of football left. And then we have to wait. Well, we're not going to have to.
Not going to wait long, which is nice.
We're not going to have to wait long because summer is right around the corner. And then once we're done with the summer, it is fall, and that means football.
Hey, maybe we should have a spring season from now on. That's my proposal. I don't think CIF will go for it.
No, we can do 2 seasons. We'll have the big one in the beginning, and then we'll have it again in the springtime.
Just make it 5 games like it is now.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I love it.
It's a 15-game season. You got 10 in the fall season and 5 in the spring. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's you and I we'll write it up.
Let's talk to CIF about it. Ball's going to get picked up right at about the 22-yard line. And still looking for some daylight and has some green. And the ball is taken right to about the 47, 48-yard line. Ethan Tejerina, your man on the return here for Riverside Pauley.
Yeah, he ran backwards. I was like, oh, no. But then he got himself out.
Boy, he was really having that ball dangling kind of loose out there, too.
Yeah.
Nice run back by Tejerina. So not bad field position here for Riverside Pauley to start off the second half of play. Cloak to Mejia. Flag on the field.
Looks like it's going to be a hold on Polly. Oh, no. They're going to call a face mask.
Wow.
On the Lancers.
Man.
I didn't see that.
The mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
Making the difference here, and that'll push the football.
And we saw relatively mistake-free football in that first half. Nothing too serious. You know, a couple procedure penalties and the one pass interception or pass interference. Other than that, it was a pretty clean game.
Ball inside of the 38. And that's where Pauley will have it first down and 10. Sanchez, your ball carrier. Picks up maybe 2 on the carry.
Number 33, Angel Sanchez, the ball carrier.
Yeah, actually going to spot it just less than a foot. So second and long is your scenario here for the Bears. Sanchez once again in the backfield along with Mejia. Give is to Mejia. He'll go up center. Trying to rip the ball out of his hands. He might get 1 or 2 out of that carry.
The refs have been a little letting him
they
go
have.
a little bit.
That's a great observation. It's amazing how long it takes for a whistle to happen. So
letting him play.
Why not? It's the final game of this abbreviated season. Let's give these kids something to have some fun with in this springtime. 3rd and long, we'll call it maybe a 3rd and 8. Mejia in motion. Sanchez. Cloak, actually your ball carrier, was looking for some daylight, really comes up with very little, maybe 2 on the carry.
Lakeside has come out and adjusted quite well in this first series defensively. They're funneling everything right to the middle of the field.
On a 4th and long situation, Paulie's going to go for it here. Fourth and 9 is what we're going to call it here. So let's see what the Bears can come up with in this scenario. The ball is in territory here of the Lancers of Lakeside. Back to fastest Cloak. Has a man open. Catch is made. And it'll be a first down reception with Alonde Telemak.
Telemak with a great reception. It looked like he was surprised he caught it and there was no one there. After he made the catch, he's like, wow, I've got some yards to go here.
Nice toss. Daring move here by John Rice.
Yeah, I mean, nobody tackled him. He had an extra 10-yard run there.
Takes the ball right to about the 11. So just shy of a 1st and goal scenario here for the Bears. Going to be a Wildcat scenario here. And Telemak going to scoot it into the end zone for the score.
Yeah, great play call by the Bears.
That is great play calling. I love the way that got mixed up like that.
Yeah, they put the 3 offset backs kind of as an extra wall of offense.
Telemaka is a senior. Don't have any specs on size and weight, but he is definitely a larger kid.
And once again,
DeGenefi up through the uprights.
The golden toe.
Yep, GT does it again. Let's take another look at this run here.
Yeah, they used the backs as an extra front there. What a great play.
That is a great formulation for the offense. Man,
got
virtually
outside.
Untouched.
Yeah.
Virtually untouched.
The Bears, if they win tonight with both programs, with the Frost Soft and the JV varsity, they will be 7-3 overall.
That's very impressive.
So very, very good year, positive year for the Bears.
DeGenefi on the kickoff. Nice boot. Be taken right at about the 15. Reverse and field. And taking it on his feet still. And finally get it knocked out of bounds right at about the 48. Kenneth Powell is your man doing the duties on the run back.
A great run, though, wasn't it? He traversed to the left, back to the right. Nearly got inside again, but the Bears were right there to stop him.
So this spots the Lancers in some pretty decent field position here, with the ball spotted right at about the 48-yard line of Riverside Poly. They really do need to make something happen on
Yes,
this.
they do.
On this drive here. Pass. Powell was your intended receiver. He was open, but unfortunately could not get a handle on it.
Yeah, that's one of those passes. If you're a receiver, you're so wide open. When you make the catch, you start to move before actually making it. And that makes it tough.
That definitely looked like the scenario he was already thinking about turning it
Yeah,
upfield for the
exactly.
score, and unfortunately just did not take that split second to concentrate and make the catch. 2nd down and 10's your scenario. Your ball carrier on the play is Barnes. Gets stacked up fairly immediately. Don't think they're going to give him any forward progress on that. So it'll be a 3rd and long scenario here for the Lancers.
So the Bears continuing to play some great defense here.
Romero in the backfield now for Lakeside. As Pope looking down the middle. Had a man open momentarily, in and out of the hands. Ball was intended for Braden Toohey.
Yeah, so Lakeside getting looks, great looks. They just haven't been able to connect with the receptions. Quarterbacks look great. They just maybe, and that's part of the problem with this year is the quarterbacks haven't been able to work with the receivers. So timing is, we've seen for the last 5 weeks, has been really off for most of these teams.
Larry Morris is going to be back to receive at his own 10-yard line for Riverside Poly. Plenty of time. Kind of an end-over-end type of kick, and it's just going to go out right at about the 28-yard line, possibly, depending how they spot it.
Yeah.
So, Riverside Poly with the advantage, leading this contest 17-3.
If you're Poly, they're going to just continue to try to run it up the gut. Those backs have been pretty phenomenal, and a young sophomore quarterback who's played mistake-free football for the most part tonight.
He's done a very nice job.
Cloak
has done an exceptional job. 1st and 10 from their own 30. Gain of about 5 on the carry.
The young freshman.
Tejon Henderson making the carry.
I think we're going to talk a lot about him in the next 4 years.
Absolutely. Very nice moves, got great speed.
He lost a shoe.
Picks up about 6 on the carry, make it a 2nd and 4 scenario here for the Bears. Whistles and flags.
I got in trouble one time when I was playing college basketball. We're playing at the University of Arizona. And one of my opponents lost his shoe during the game, and he was running down the floor, and it was right in front of me.
Yeah.
So I grabbed it. And I got a technical foul for it. I didn't realize you could have. I was trying to throw it. I said I was trying to throw it just off the floor, but I think I threw it about 30 rows up in the bleachers. I might have hit a co-ed on accident, but yeah, I just grabbed a shoe. I threw it real far.
40 from the 41, 1st down and 10. That definitely sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, and I recall, I think Bill Walton was on the call in the TV game, and he said he was blasting me for what I did. But what else? I mean, the guy was scoring on me left and right. I wasn't a great defender. So I said, I'm going to throw his shoe up in the bleachers, for God's sakes.
Why not? Get some attention somehow.
Yeah, I was getting annihilated defensively.
2nd and 9 here for the Bears. Oh, catch almost made by Makai Alexander. Makes it a 3rd and long scenario here for Riverside Poly. So the offense is kind of stalling just a little bit here on this drive. Stops the clock at 6:47 here in the 3rd. And it looks like John Rice didn't like what he saw out in the field. We'll take a timeout here in the 3rd quarter.
And let's talk about state relief, JR. Pep Fernandez, our partner, he was part of this state relief program. The state of California is offering financial support to California businesses through its recently created Small Business Relief Grant programs, which is available to small business or small nonprofit operations operating in California. They provide cash payments in the amount of $5,000 to $25,000 based on eligible businesses' gross revenue. Applicants who applied but do not receive funds in rounds 1 and 2 do not need to apply again. They will automatically be entered in rounds 3 and 4 and potentially in a 5th round. Interested businesses can find more information and begin preparing your applications documents at carereliefgrant.com.
Back to pass. Cloak hits his receiver, but it'll be well shy the first down.
Yeah, our friend Pep Fernandez was a recipient of one of those small business grants, helped him out through the pandemic.
Very nice. Glad to hear that. Yeah, so many small businesses have been hit so hard in the Inland Empire. It's just been heartbreaking to hear some of the scenarios for some of these mom and pop stores,
Exactly.
whether it be restaurants or a local cleaners or places like that just really struggled through the shutdown. So it brings up a punting scenario here for Riverside Poly, so the offense gets stalled on this drive. DeGenefe, also your punter here. Pretty decent boot. Oh, fumble on the play. Ball is loose. Who comes up with it? I believe the Lancers are going to be lucky to come up with this one.
Another good running punt there. And the ball hits.
Oh, boy. Romero was doing what he can to kind of scoop it and then just unfortunately lost the handle on it. He's very fortunate that he did not get a turnover on that one. So first down and 10 scenario here for the Lancers of Lakeside as the ball spotted at their own 26. Clock is stopped at 5:48 here in the third. We said this previous, but they really do need to make something happen on this drive.
Yeah, they have struggled offensively.
Back to passes Pope. Looking long to his right. Oh, looks like it is picked off, but it might be ruled out of bounds. Nope, they're going to rule it as an interception. Bailey Brown coming up with a pick. And that'll take care of that one. A little pushing and shoving going on. Great concentration by Pope. Boy, he was right on the edge. I kind of question a little bit if it was in bounds or not, but a little hard to see from our vantage point.
But a great catch, though.
Great catch.
Just a junior. So he'll be back for his senior campaign next year.
First and 10 scenario, ball at the 48 of Riverside Poly. Let's see if they can make something happen off of this drive. Off tackle, pickup of about 1 on the carry. Henderson, your ball carrier. Pickup of 1 on the carry. So just shy of midfield here for the Bears. Sanchez now coming into the backfield here for Riverside Poly, along with Mejia. Second and long. Sanchez on the carry. There are flags flying. Boy, he gets belted almost into the water.
Yes, he did.
Water jugs there. But there was a flag thrown just prior to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold.
And it is a hold. Unfortunately, that will negate that gainer there by Sanchez. That'll now spot the football right at the 40. So 2nd and 20 is going to be the scenario. Maybe 2nd and 18. So 2nd and long situation here for the Bears of Poly. Back to pass and losing the football on the turf. It looks like this might be a turnover, and it is. Cloak was looking downfield, kind of lost the handle on it. Unfortunately, puts it on the ground.
It looks like he was bumped here. Let's see. It looks like he held it with one hand as he Oh, that's what happened.
His own running back,
Yeah.
unfortunately, runs into him. Jason Mejia, just enough to disturb the handling on it. Makes this a key turnover that let's see if Lakeside can try to take advantage of this scenario with the ball spotted at the Pauley 40. Pope could not find his receiver. Kenneth Powell was intended on that one.
And there's the timing issue we've talked about over and over again. And it's not just with this team. It's just the timing is off for these pass plays. A little behind.
Yeah. Dakota Pope, as we mentioned, a 4-year starter here for Lakeside, so he brings in probably the most experience for this entire squad. And Pope looking right, has a man open, catch is made, and ball's going to be taken right to about the 30, close to the first down. Medina, your ball making the reception, I should say. Will be shy of the first down. It'll be a 3rd and short, 3rd and 1 to be specific, with the ball spotted at the 31. Clock rolling at 4:22 here in the third. Pope to Romero. Scampers his way for a gainer of about 6 on the carry and enough for a first down, and puts the ball inside of the 25.
And watching Dakota Pope, we saw him play last year at Riverside North. He did a great job, really kept them in the ball game at North. But I'll tell you what, he's 4 years playing varsity football. He is definitely has great poise in the backfield, as you can see.
Yeah, definitely. Head coach James Seidler says that he really has depended on his skills and abilities, as he's going to get almost wrapped up here in the backfield, still scrambling for some daylight, and going to get ridden out of bounds for a loss of maybe 5 on the play.
Well, Pope was pretty elusive on that play, as we just talked about him. The poise that he showed without just getting taken down. Nearly gets crushed right there.
Well, I thought he was going to get taken down for sure right there.
Yeah, Anthony Villa nearly got him.
Not able to find anybody out in the open, so it'll bring up a 2nd and long scenario. 2nd and 14 to be specific. Romero, your ball carrier. Yeah, maybe 2 on the carry. 3rd and long will be your scenario here for the Lancers.
Yeah, Mejia really stopped him. That could have been an extra couple yards. Jason Mejia, good stop by Poly.
I would imagine if they don't make the 3rd down conversion, they're going to probably go for it with a 4th down. Yeah, I think so. At this point of the ball game, clock rolling at 3:13, trailing by a score of 17-3. It's time to try to get it into the end zone here. Pope got 3 receivers spread right. Looking to his left. Catch is made and ball taken right to about the 19. It'll be shy of the first down, but like we said, I am sure head coach Seidler will keep that offensive squad in to try to convert this 4th down scenario.
Of course, and it's just a great tackle right as the ball is catched right there.
Beautiful stop.
Great stop by number 30, Angelo Ramirez.
4th down and 5 is your scenario. Well, maybe we'll call it 4th down and 6. So let's see. Can Pope make it happen? He's going to get knocked down for a loss, and unfortunately it will be a turnover on downs. Could not find an open receiver, and the pocket really just collapsed pretty quickly on him. So offensively, it's been a real struggle here.
It has.
Throughout the game, unfortunately, for the Lancers.
Heck, I saw 60-plus points last night. This is a good. I'm not normally one of those guys that likes defense, but in a game like this, I appreciate the game more.
Boy, really strong pressure put on by Julius Castro from Riverside Poly. As the Bears using Dylan Zyber as your ball carrier. 2nd and 4 scenario here for the Bears. Henderson, your ball carrier.
See where they spot that. Could be a bit short.
That'll be shy less than a yard.
I haven't seen the chain gang come out all season long. Have you?
I've seen it one time.
Really?
One time last weekend in our game here. Actually, I was at Ramona with Arlington and Patriot. Yeah, I've only seen it one time.
Those guys aren't getting their just due this season.
No. I've hardly seen any kind of measurement at all throughout the entire season. I've got a bit of movement on the line. We've had a few offside penalties called against the Lancers, and it looks like they're going to get another one here.
Kind of throwing the defense off, maybe messing with the cadence a little bit.
Stops the clock at 1:33 left here in the third. Now Pauly, I'm sure, just going to try to do what they can to keep things on the ground, keep that clock rolling with this lead of 17-3. Pickup of close to 5 on the carry. Looks like Henderson once again your ball carrier.
Number 24, Tayshawn Henderson, the ball carrier. Tackle by number 77, Tyler Hunt.
Pickup of about 6 is what we're going to call it. So that'll spot the ball right at about the 42. 2nd and short. Gives to Ethan Jackson.
So you had a freshman and a sophomore back-to-back plays there. I think we're going to be, like I said, I'm going to go out on a limb and say those two guys are going to be pretty darn good.
Yeah, you give them a continuous playing time here, and it's really going to make them suited and ready for this next coming season here and starting in August. 3rd and short, 3rd and 1 scenario here. Ball spotted at the 45. Met right at the line of scrimmage. That'll be a gain of nothing on that one. Jason Mejia, your ball carrier.
Number 44, Jason Mejia, the ball carrier. Tackle by number 44.
So that'll push it back a yard or two. Call it a 4th and 3 situation here for Riverside Pauly. Well, that'll end the 3rd quarter of play. As we march into the 4th quarter, Riverside maintaining a 17-3 lead over the Lancers of Lakeside. So if the Lancers can just get going offensively, they just have not been able to generate much here in this ball game, Jeff.
They haven't, and they've had some good looks, throwing down the field. They just haven't connected on catching those footballs. But you can't knock the offensive play calling by Lancers. They just haven't made the big plays. They've had looks. They just have not connected.
They've definitely made the effort. At just the execution of some of those plays just has not fallen in their favor through most of this ball game. And now they only have 12 minutes to try to generate something here in this final quarter of play. So it is a punting situation here for Pauly. DeGenevieve with Romero back to receive right at about his own 30-yard line. Nice kick.
Good
Takes
roll.
a great bounce there for Riverside. It gets scooped up right at about the 15, maybe 16-yard line. So a pretty decent kick by DeGenevieve. So kind of a long field scenario here for the Lancers of Lakeside as we're early here in the 4th quarter of play. Glad to have you along with us here on Riverside TV. J.R. Ibarra along with Jeff Gorham bringing you all the action here from King High School. It's been great to bring you this abbreviated season. We've been able to pack in quite a few games in that short amount of time.
We sure have. It's been fun. Had an opportunity to work with some of the best in the business with you and Gazal and Pep. And even that guy, Nick Rice, the young fella.
Give us to Romero. Scampers forward for a pickup, maybe 3 to 4 on the carry.
You and I have done this for a few years now, and it's always a pleasure working with you, JR.
Absolutely.
You and I have a lot of fun together, and And we have a great opportunity before games to meet with all the local people, the Riverside fans, and they all come up and always thank us for what the job that we do, but I should say the job that Scott Brocious and his staff
award-winning crew we might add. Pope back to pass, looking out to his left. Catch is made and taken right to about the 34-yard line. Reception by Kenneth Powell.
Yeah, we just happen to be the voices. We don't do much other than talk.
We don't push the buttons.
No, it's those guys.
In fact, they keep us away from the buttons.
Yeah, we have a helper from Riverside Poly tonight.
Oh, that's right. Christian, I believe, is his name.
Yeah, so
that's what I love about Riverside TV. It gives a lot of youngsters an opportunity to do something if they have that interest of being involved in television production. I love seeing that many a times at some of these games we will allow some of the local high school kids to participate as a crew member. Catch is made. Staying on his feet. Some daylight where the ball will be taken right to about the 21-yard line. John Medina.
So there's the big play we were talking about.
This is what they've been looking for. They've needed this badly as Medina makes the reception right at about the 40. Beautiful running. Look at that. Able to elude two different defenders. Takes the ball right to about the 22-yard line where he's ridden out of bounds. First down and 10's now your scenario for the Lancers. They're looking at some daylight. Romero now your ball carrier. Keeps the feet moving. Maybe gets a couple on the carry.
Number 23, Braden Tuhey, the ball carrier.
Yeah, if you're Daryl Hanson, the principal of Riverside Poly, you really kind of have to be happy with what you're seeing here tonight. You've got the band. You've got more cheerleaders than you can throw a stick at.
Oh,
I mean,
my gosh, yeah.
There's more. I can't even count. I think I'm a fairly smart guy, but I don't think I can count that high. There's so many cheerleaders. But, I mean, all the programs at Riverside Poly are doing so well. And great Daryl Hanson, a Norte Vista graduate.
On a 2nd and 7, ball right down the middle in for the score.
Lancer touchdown, scored by number 23, Braden Tuhey.
Tuhey coming up with a reception badly needed here for the Lancers, so this gives some life back to Lakeside.
A little bit of life, and the passing game is maybe that timing's coming together here. The question is, do they have enough time to get the ball back and try to score again here?
Clock is stopped at 9:41, so if they're able to rise to the occasion defensively, this will be a big help in terms of trying to make up potentially a 7-point deficit. Kick looks to be partially blocked, so that could really make a big difference here in this football game. Let's take a look at this touchdown toss here by Pope to Tuhey, right down the middle, and untouched, in for the score. One more time. Great execution on the pass and the reception, which gives the first touchdown here for the Lancers. Fortunately, the point after just didn't go their way.
A lot of time left, though. Let's see if they go for maybe an onside kick here. Try to get the ball back.
You know, we have seen some of that scenario, and why not? I mean, last game of this abbreviated season, we're down to the final almost 9.5 left to play here in this season. And they're just going to boot it away. Picked up at the 20. Some daylight. Still on his feet. Still going strong. And finally ridden down at about the 14. Ethan Tejerina running it back here for Riverside Poly, but we have flags way back there where it's most likely a holding call.
What a great run, though.
Oh, man, a beautiful run. Look at him stiff arm right there. That's great work by Tejerina.
It's like Marcus Dupree. You remember the great? He would always straight arm guys.
Still kept it going. I thought he might have had enough daylight there to take it into the end zone. Discussion still on the play here by the refs. Let's see what the call is. Got a couple of penalty markers down on the field. Yeah, it is a holding call, unfortunately. Yeah, that's kind of a typical scenario for that type of situation.
And they call a face mask as well.
Wow.
Against the Bears, so that is going to negate it and some. So instead of being a first down in the red zone, they're almost in.
They are
back
really,
against their end zone.
Yeah, they are backed up pretty significantly here at about the 26-yard line. So quite unfortunate for Riverside Poly. But this once again kind of breathes a little bit of life into the Lancers defense to try to make a stop here on this series. Cloak, your ball carrier, gets wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage.
Number 7, Ashton Zuniga, the ball carrier.
Actually, it's Zuniga was in the backfield.
So they bring in the junior.
We got an injury down on the turf. So this will stop the clock at 9:08.
Hopefully nothing too serious on the field. And hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, not seeing a number on who it is that's down on the turf. But it obviously brings us to a stop and play here. Maybe we could take another look on who this might have been for the Lancers.
Looks like it's number 55, which I have a number on him. But hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, we don't seem to. Hunter Copeland.
Hunter Copeland
down on the turf.
Hopefully he is okay.
Yeah, we're just hoping the best for Hunter.
As we watch, let's talk about COVID testing once more as students, teachers, and coaches and faculty members head back to practice on campus. Let's make sure everyone stays safe from COVID-19. Fortunately, Riverside has numerous locations within the city to provide at no cost simple oral swab testing. You'll receive results within 24 to 48 hours directly to your phone. Make sure you and your loved ones are healthy and stay healthy. Visit riversideca.gov/testing.
So Poly once again showing that unique backfield. Henderson, your ball carrier. Got some daylight, picks up a first down on the carry. Actually, it's Alandi Telemaki making the carry here for Riverside.
That's twice we've seen that identical formation, and both times been able to get some great
Positive
yardage. The
yeah.
first time was a great touchdown. That one saved the first down, and the clock will continue to roll here.
First down and 10. Telemake, once again, your ball carrier.
Every time we say his name, I'm thinking of Tillamook. You know, the cheese factory and the great ice cream. Oh, man, I took my family on a road trip up to Oregon, and we went to the Tillamook factory, and, man, I tell you what, every time I hear that young man's name, my stomach is rumbling.
No.
I'm thinking about cheese and ice cream.
I have a barrel of it in the freezer right now at home, that's for sure.
I don't want to eat it right now. It's freezing cold.
No. We'll save that for tomorrow afternoon or something.
But a good melted cheese, some Tillamook cheddar cheese sounds good on a burrito now.
Oh, now you're talking. Oh, once again, an offside scenario here for the Lancers of Lakeside.
Offsides against the Lancers.
Now, how many times, and you and I call these games, do you stop and you on the way home, you don't tell your wife, and you go and you stop and get like a big burrito somewhere?
I don't know if you go much, but I love Miguel's Jr. If I can give a plug to one local fast food Mexican place, Miguel's Jr. is just my favorite. No question.
There's one right nearby?
Oh, I know. Just down on Van Buren. Telemark now your ball carrier once again. Got plenty of daylight. He's to the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Riverside Poly.
But there is a flag.
Is there a flag?
There is. just about the 24-yard
Oh,
line.
yes, there is. There's some yellow laundry down on the field.
What a great run, though. We were
What
just
a
talking about him.
Beautiful run. Oh, my gosh. Yep, it'll go against the Bears, so that will negate that one, unfortunately, on the great run by Telemark. So probably a block in the back scenario here for Riverside Poly. So the ball does get advanced, though, so they'll have it at the spot of the foul.
And we got, I believe, Will Cloak back in the ballgame.
Yeah, Cloak is back in the gun. Handoff. Pickup of about maybe 1 or 2 on the play. Henderson, your ball carrier.
Number 24, Tajon Henderson, the ball carrier. Tackled by number
Maybe a gainer of a short one on the carry. Clock rolling. Bears kind of taking their time very wisely. And to give once again. Henderson gets wrapped up for a loss of at least 2 on the carry.
number 24, Tajon Henderson, the ball carrier. Tackled by number 55.
So it'll bring up a 3rd and long scenario here for the Bears. Hunter Copeland, who we saw injured just a few plays ago, making the stop for the Lancers. So a 3rd and 14 scenario here for Poly. With the clock rolling inside of 6 minutes remaining in this ball game. Cloak from the gun. The give. And maybe gain of 1, if not maybe a half of a yard by Ethan Jackson.
26, Ethan Jackson, the ball carrier.
And that'll be a loss of 1. So this will bring in the punting crew. DeGenevieve once again in the punt here for Riverside Poly.
The golden toe to see if he can get within. Get another good one.
Romero. And it looks like we have one of the Bears, Mejia, kind of nursing some issues with his right arm. So Romero back at his own 9-yard line. DeGenevieve backed up to his 46, 47. Pretty good boot. Romero lets it bounce and take it inside of the 5. Will they give it to them, or is it in for a touchback? I believe it's in for a touchback. So once again, or will they down it? They will down it.
So another great punt.
Wow. So the kicking game, I mean, we've been joking about it, but the kicking game has really been kind of a crucial part of this contest.
They have saved Poly at least twice, and they're forcing Lakeside. Really, I mean, their back is to the wall. If Poly can stop this, they have a shot really to just, finish the game. This is a very important series for Lakeside here.
So backed way up at their own 2-yard line. Boy, what do you do in this scenario here? Pope looking to his left. Oh, unfortunately, his receiver was not even looking. Ball was intended for Kenneth Powell.
And we saw this scenario in the first half where they were back to, and they went deep. So how they tried to get a quick pass, he just threw right behind.
Yeah, Powell just was not aware that it was already in flight. Stops the clock at 4:49. 2nd and 10 scenario with the ball remaining at their own 2. Pope from his own end zone. Looking for some daylight. Going to get chased out of the pocket. Keeps the feet moving. spins for a gainer of maybe 5 on the carry.
Number 13, Dakota Pope on the carry. Tackle by number 46, Julius Castro.
Actually closer to 6 yards on the carry. So very fortunate he was able to take it out of the end zone and give themselves a little bit of breathing room here with the ball spotted right at their own 8. Clock rolling at 4:16 remaining, 4:15 in this contest. Pope looking to his right. Ball swatted down. Great defensive play by Pauley by John Rice Jr.
Hey, the coach's son making the play. Blocked with the left hand there, I believe.
Nicely done. Sure, that's got to make Coach Rice happy.
He's not going to have to put him on restriction for not making a play.
No timeout for Junior.
No. If you don't make a play, you're getting on restriction. No video games for a week.
Punting situation here for the Lancers. Boy, they're backed up in their own end zone. Almost blocked. And the ball will dribble out of bounds right at about the 31. So, man, this will give some really favorable field position here for Riverside Pauley. Stops the clock just inside of 4 minutes remaining in this ball game. So glad you can join us on this cool, we're calling it chilly from our perspective.
It's crisp.
But I know they're making fun of us down in the truck,
they
saying
are.
It's only 63 degrees.
Because, you know, what they call it, we're the talent. You know, we're the divas.
First down and 10 scenario here for Riverside. Brand new back, and it looks like we got another flag down in play. Ashton Zuniga acting as your quarterback, a junior here for Pauley.
Has been the starter for the majority of the season for the Bears. You know, this is one of those times where you go, man, I really like my face mask. It's keeping me warm. It's like a ski mask.
Yeah, exactly. We're not necessarily wearing the masks for viral purposes.
No, it's for warmth. Only for warmth, but another hold on the Bears.
Stops the clock at 3:52. First and 19. Looking. Still can't find anybody, and remaining at his feet, and takes it almost to the original line of scrimmage. It is once again Ashton Zuniga. Kept looking downfield for somebody, but defensively the Lancers were doing a great job of keeping all the receivers in check.
Yeah, they were playing some great man-to-man defense on those deep ball threats.
So the ball does get spotted right at about the original line of scrimmage, so we'll call it a 2nd and 10 scenario. Once again, Ashton on the carry. Ashton Zuniga, I should say. Picks up nearly 4 on the carry. We'll call it 3 maybe. Long 3. So I think at this point, just keeping it on the ground is what Riverside Pauley wants to do.
They're going to just eat up the clock. Try to, they call it timeout.
Yeah, timeout down in the field for Lakeside, which I don't blame them. It's like they really have got to make something happen here defensively and make a stop, because time is of the essence with 2:42 remaining in this contest.
Hey, you got to generate something. You got to get some offense. Play small ball like you do in baseball.
Right.
Except on football, you got it. You know, I'm sure right now Lakeside's telling, hey, if they run the ball, you got to try to knock that ball out of their hands. Make a stop here, and let's try to traverse, 70 yards.
You know, there's a shout-out I've been wanting to make here, and especially here in our last game of the season,
Sure.
and that's to those players who unfortunately were not able to play in this abbreviated season. I know a continuous story we've heard from coaches is that many of the kids, because of family issues, had to go and take a job after school, and they just unfortunately could not participate in athletics and sports, and so I'm sure it's disappointing for many of those kids. I'm sure some of them might be watching, and I would say I appreciate you youngsters for being responsible to essentially take care of your family responsibilities instead of having to come out and do the athletics. So we salute you for your efforts. We certainly do. Back to pass. Cloak finds his receiver.
And to kind of piggyback off of that, you also have student athletes that, in a normal school year situation, they're able to play multiple sports.
Right.
And in this abbreviated season, the CIF is not allowing you to play multiple sports.
Oh, that's correct.
So and right now, if you think about it, we're on a Friday night, and I talked to the principal at Riverside Poly, and there is a basketball game, a football game, a baseball game, all on the same day. And normally these teams share athletes. So you'll have a basketball player that will play football and football players that play baseball and so forth. So they're only able to play one sport.
Wow, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Oh, looks like they're going to get a first down out of this scenario here.
They didn't even bring out the chain.
They didn't even bring out the chains.
Good
they just
golly.
kind of eyeballed it and said, okay, it's enough for a first down. So it'll be a first down scenario here for Riverside Poly. Clock rolling inside of 2 minutes, so this really acts in their favor by using up the time clock. The give goes to Mejia, or excuse me, Angel Sanchez on the carry.
Number 33, Angel Sanchez, the ball carrier. Tackle by number 52, Hunter.
Gain of about 1 on the carry.
And I think that will be the last timeout by the Lancers.
Stops the clock at 1:32. Once again, we thank you for joining us here on Riverside TV.
Yeah, we've had some fun this entire season. There were times where we've had two crews going out.
Yeah, we had 2 games in one night. We had a kind of a smaller crew that took care of some of the games, and then we had the larger crew.
I want to tell you that many times we peeked in while you guys were doing the other game and talked about it on air. we had some fun with that this season.
2nd and 9 here for the Bears. Your ball carrier, Ethan Jackson, going to get wrapped up. See if they give him any kind of progress at all. And it looks like a final timeout being taken here by Lakeside.
No.
Ricky Vasquez. Timeout taken by the Lancers. If you're looking to impress your significant other.
So the Lancers still trying to make something happen here defensively. Stopping the clock at 1:21. Pretty good even matchup tonight. Kind of what we expected out of both of these squads.
There's some great things happening at Riverside Poly. I wanted to mention is they're going to have their inaugural Hall of Fame at Riverside Poly. So they're going to induct. I believe it's a different. They're going to. I think it's a Wall of Fame or a Wall of Distinction, and they're going to induct 14 athletes, contributors, coaches, and so forth later on this year, and it will be the first class, and they're going to do it every year, and they're going to go back to the 1800s.
Wow.
As far as induction, because Riverside Poly being the oldest high school in Riverside, they're going to bring back even from the 1800s. So pretty special time.
That is great when you think of all the special athletes, as Tillamook is your ball carrier.
They've had a few at Riverside Poly, haven't they?
Boy, when you think of all the decades of history, well, we got some extracurricular activity happening down on the field.
A couple Hall of Famers. I think most people have heard of the family, the Miller family,
yes.
Reggie and Cheryl Miller.
How could you not hear of the Miller family?
You also had Sippy Woodhead, Olympic swimmer, who was a phenomenal athlete. In fact, they named a pool after her at the Bonds. You had Bobby Bonds was a Riverside Poly, the father, the late great father of Barry Bonds.
Mm-hmm.
He was and his brother Robert. So he had Bobby and Robert Bonds.
Wow.
They had the same name. Okay, one of the sisters who was an Olympic athlete, one of the Bonds sisters. And it just over the years, the number of titles, and they've renovated the gym. So if you go into Riverside Poly's gym now, they have brand new banners that go back to the 1800s.
Wow.
They have, in fact,
that's pretty cool.
Daryl Hansen, I mentioned, was a Norte Vista graduate. In fact, played basketball for my dad years ago. And I used to be an ankle biter. I used to run around and chase him around the gym. But he was a phenomenal baseball player, a great football player. And so Daryl Hansen, I've known my entire life of 50 years. That tells you he's just a little bit older than I am. He looks better
just
than I
slightly.
do. Slightly. And but he told me, he said, we went back, we have every single yearbook from the late 1800s.
Is that right?
So that's pretty special in itself. That should be like in the Riverside Smithsonian.
That is so neat to preserve that type of history, because there is great history in the city of Riverside. There's phenomenal history here. So this looks like a field goal attempt by DeGenefi. I mean, he's been the golden toe, as we called him.
Let's give him the MVP if he makes this.
Yeah, you know, this is going to be near 40 yards on the attempt. Kick is up on the way. It looks like it'll be short.
I'm going to blame the wind on that one. That was not his fault.
So the attempt goes nowhere, but there's 22 seconds remaining in this game for Lakeside to try to make something happen here. Once again, we want to thank you for joining us here on Riverside TV. Our great thanks to all of you who've been viewing throughout the entire abbreviated season.
We've had a lot of people watching. I mean, thousands.
Yes, we've had quite a few hits on YouTube, Facebook.
We're all over the place.
Great to see the participation online. Back to pass. Pope has a man open. Catch is made and pushes the football right to the 39, so they're really in hurry-up mode right now. Barnes coming up with a catch here for Lakeside. Pope looking out to his right. Gets his receiver looking to push it out of bounds, and that will stop the clock with 10 seconds remaining. So they're still doing everything that they can to try to make things happen. Second and short is your scenario for the Lancers. Pope back to pass. Looking. Tosses it long, and it gets picked off. And that'll seal things up for the Bears of Riverside Poly as the clock expires. So just like that, falling just shy of his intended receiver, interception made by the Bears, and that will be tonight's ball game.
Yeah, great season for the Bears. As I mentioned, their soft team went 5-0. Together combined, they were 7-3. So a good year good year for second-year head coach John Rice and his staff. But more importantly, his players, the young guys. We saw some freshmen peppered in with a lot of sophomores. So the cupboard is full with the Bears going forward.
Absolutely. As we mentioned several times, I think this coming fall is going to be some of the best football we're going to be seeing here in the city of Riverside with what has happened and it's transpired here in this spring season. So really looking forward to what's going to happen here coming in August.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, my friend, and the entire Riverside crew. Thank you, Riverside City, for supporting us every single game. You guys have been wonderful.
Absolutely. Our award-winning crew for here in Riverside TV, and thanks to our executive producers, Scotty Brocious, for keeping everything running here for all of us. For Jeff Gorham, this is J.R. Ibarra. Thank you for joining us as the Bears of Poly come up with a 17-9 victory over the Lakeside Lancers. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you in August. Take care, everybody.
I am going to hand you passing of the baton, but today it's going to be bashing in the ceremonial piñata. So there you go.
Transformation, and this gallery is just right next to the Zocalo. It is a center of activities. It has museum shop, it has cafe, it has gathering space, learning space. So these will be all fluid between the art in the gallery and the activity of the people indoor and outdoor.
As we go along this path, I am fully convinced that this museum and the Center for Chicano Art and Culture was meant to be, and it was meant to be here in Riverside and the Inland Empire. It is beyond my wildest dreams of what we could do with this building, and we hope we can bring honor and glory to a long tradition of historic buildings here in Riverside, California.